I'd like to begin with a reading from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. But he said to me, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. I will all the more gladly boast of my weaknesses, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Early in 2018, I visited the dermatologist for a patch of skin on my forehead that just wouldn't heal. After a few more visits to a specialist that kept taking samples to make sure nothing else was growing, I was encouraged to follow up with a radiologist just to make sure nothing more was growing. This was the beginning of a surgery in June to remove some rogue cancer cells on the right side of my neck. Though the surgery was successful, I was referred to Cancer Care Northwest for follow-up treatments of chemotherapy and radiation. When you sit in a medical oncologist office with your wife and daughter, and they recommend 8 weekly 4-hour treatments of an infusion, along with 33 daily radiation treatments, it takes a bit of wind out of your sails. I always thought I was pretty healthy, and I knew I had a good relationship with God. Then how come this? Well, this is cancer, and this is the start of a real learning experience. Some say people of Scandinavian descent are a little headstrong. Peggy says I'm downright stubborn. Be that as it may, I figured I can make it through a few months of treatment, and I'll be back to new in no time. My attitude of I can handle this alone was soon put on the back burner when, after a couple months of infusion and radiation therapy, I'd lost more than 40 pounds, and emotionally, I wasn't healthy. The radiation burned my neck area and really did a number on my taste buds. Nothing tasted good, which is a huge understatement, as everything tasted like mud, even water. The doctors advised that I have a feeding tube inserted to keep a source of nutrition in me. I downplayed this, as I still felt I could do this on my own. Maybe I am stubborn. For the next few weeks, I went to Cancer Care Northwest for my daily infusions of nutrients, basically to stay hydrated. Finally, I was admitted to the hospital for intense nutritional infusions. I had a feeding tube inserted and was sent home to recuperate. All this was God's way of telling me, give it to me. You don't have to handle it alone. Let me carry your burden for you. The next few months changed how I thought of my life. Throughout the previous months, I was in conversation with God, but continued to be confused, as nothing like this had ever happened. All I knew is I was hurting, both physically and mentally. Sitting at home, unable to play tennis, golf, or even go for a walk was quite humbling. Then I started to regain my strength, and slowly but surely, I was on the road to some sense of normalcy. That was a time when I truly felt, deep in my heart, the power of prayer and God's grace. You, as my church family, through your love, kind thoughts, and wishes, but especially your prayers, helped pull me out of an exceptionally trying time in my life. One of the most negative times was when I wasn't physically able to worship with my church family on Sunday. I thrive on the personal human contact and communication with others, and not having that in my life was a difficult hurdle to overcome. There is no bond stronger than that of a family. Over the past year and a half, I've been blessed with clear scan reports. What that means is I continue to be thankful for every day God has given me. Thanks be to God. I'd like to conclude with a reading from the devotional, Jesus Calling, by Sarah Young. This is written specifically for March 7th, but I find it applicable to every day. It reads, Let me help you through this day. The challenges you face are far too great for you to handle alone. You are are keenly aware of your helplessness in the scheme of events you face. This awareness opens up a choice to doggedly go it alone or to walk with me in humble steps of obedience. Actually, this choice is continually before you, but difficulties highlight the decision-making process. So consider it all joy whenever you are enveloped in various trials. These are gifts from me, reminding you to rely on me alone. Thanks be to God for my family, who I put through a lot of stress, and you, my church family, for your continued support. Thank you.